Okay, now we have what's called the product rule, where you start with two separate functions multiplying against themselves. Or once in a while, you'll have the same function multiplying against itself. And here's the product rule. The product rule says that you multiply the f function times the derivative of the g function. Then you're going to add the g function, the g function multiplied by the derivative of the f function. So that's the setup. F times, this is called prime, times g prime plus g times f prime. So a good school of thought is to identify those. Now, once you get doing this enough, you won't have to do this. But the idea is multiply, so the f function is 3x squared plus 5. So the derivative of the f function is 6x. Now, the g function is 4x cubed, and man, I'm leaving off the derivative notation. The derivative function, 3 times 4 is 12. 3 subtract 1 is, so there's the derivative of the g function, and then you put it into this formula, or this equation, however you want to look at it. And that is going to be the derivative of that product rule. All right, so let's come down here and say that the derivative of that product is the f function times the derivative of the g function, so 12x squared, plus the g function, 4x cubed, times f prime, which is 6x. And then you go ahead and simply simplify all of that. Here, let me go ahead and move this down. Down to over there. So then we're going to multiply those two together, and that gives us 36x to the fourth. And then we're going to multiply those two together, and that gives us 60x squared. Now we're going to do the distributive here, or multiply here. And notice those two things can be added together. So you have to put the final result in simplest terms. So that looks like that's 60x to the fourth plus, so this right here is the derivative of that product up there. All right, so here's our f function. Here's our g function. So let's go ahead and put f prime. This will save some writing. So the derivative of this function looks like it's 9x squared. And the derivative of the g function looks like it's 16x cubed. All right, so now we have our f, our g, our f prime, and our g prime. So dy dx is equal to f, because we have that formula right there, f times g prime plus g times f prime, and prime means derivative, so we have f times g prime, which is 16x cubed. And we're going to add the g function, 4x to the fourth, subtract 4, and it's going to multiply by the f prime. And then do the distributive on both of those, and then simplify at the very end. So we've got 48x. When you multiply powers, you add the exponents. So 48x to the 6th plus 80x cubed. Over here, 4x to the fourth times 9x squared is 36x to the sixth minus 36x squared. And it looks like the only exponents, variable and exponents that are same are those two. So those two can be combined. So what do we got? I should have my calculator handy to make sure I'm doing the mental math okay, but so there we have it. So two binomials being multiplied, this would be how you do it. And I think I've got one more down here. So let me bring down the chain rule. So here's our F, here's our G. So F prime is like 20x cubed, and G prime is like it's 12x cubed plus 10x. All right, so dy dx tells us F times the derivative of G plus G times the derivative of F. And just be careful, it's really easy to mess these up. You'll see people doing math videos that can, it's just a lot of numbers and a lot of rules that we're needing to follow. And if we're looking ahead and not present with each step, it's easy to make that error. All right, and now you're just doing, so in the first set of binomials, if you like the FOIL method, that's fine. I teach students just, it's two sets of distributive. These two things will be multiplied. And in that order, believe it or not, is the FOIL method. So dy over dx is 60x to the seventh plus 50x to the fifth. Then I'm going to switch right here, plus 60x cubed plus 50x. Now we're going to switch to over here. So that looks like 60x to the seventh plus 100x to the fifth plus 60x cubed. All right, well, those two things so we're going to add now like terms. They have to be the same variable and the same exponent number. So we have 120 x to the seventh, and we've got these x to the fifths plus 150 x to the fifth. We've got 120 x cubed plus 50x. So this right here is the product rule. The next video will be quotient rule.